Today I wanted to talk about eating and weight loss, or eating for weight loss, whichever way you want to look at it. It is one of those things that it has been probably the most challenging thing I've had over my weight loss journey, and something I'd like to share with you today. My name is Mark and I'm here to help you live a better, healthier life. My goal is to help as many people as I can get into shape and then lose some weight. If this is your first time here and you want to learn more about practical and effective ways to lose weight, and in terms of nutrition and fitness, then start now by hitting the subscription button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos going forward. And now, without further ado, let's jump right in. First of all, let me start off with a confession. I am basically a food addict. I don't really care what it is. I just love food, as you can probably tell. And it's one of those things that it's been a problem over the years because I'm not that fussy, whether it is a kebab, a pizza, a packet of chips or crisps, or chocolate. I've never been a fussy eater. I just eat for pleasure, stress, boredom. I just eat whenever I get a chance. And that is one of the things that I found the hardest, well, the easiest to put the weight on, the hardest thing in terms of trying to lose weight. Because I do eat for all of the emotional eating, for the boredom eating. If it's just there, I'll eat it. And I've never been very good at actually going, I'm full, I'm just gonna stop, and leaving something on my plate. Because if it's on my plate, then I will eat it, and I probably will have, or I used to have, seconds and thirds whenever it was possible to have it. So over my weight loss journey, and I have lost a lot of weight over time. It's something like 13, 14 stone in total I've lost so far. So over that journey, I've realized a few things on it. The first and most important thing I've realized over the years is that the simple fact is next to nobody is ever going to lose weight if they eat more calories than their body actually needs. I know it sounds so obvious, and it kind of is now, but it's one of those things I struggled with the most. I'm doing all this exercise, why am I not losing weight? And the simple fact is, I was eating far more calories than I was actually burning. Even though I was burning more this week than I was the week before, I was still eating more calories than I was using. It sounds stupidly obvious to me now, but I went through months, if not years, of whinging in my head, going, well, I'm doing all this exercise, I'm playing some sports, I'm walking the dogs, I'm doing all X, Y, and Z, I'm going to the gym. But the simple fact is that I was then eating those calories and more. So I've learned a few things over the past few years. Number one, use something like a TD calculator, TDEE calculator. There's always a link in the video description to one, but whatever one it is, use it, because that will tell you exactly how many calories you need to eat to maintain, to put on, or to lose weight. And that will give you a great idea of where you should be roughly in terms of your diet. So work it out. Simple, age, weight, height, male or female, type it into the calculator and it will give you a ballpark figure that you should be aiming for. The second thing I've learned over the years is I used to go on intermittent diets. They were kind of stupid, to be brutally honest. I'd cut out a massive amount of calories, and I'd lose some weight. But of course, then all the cravings would kick in and I would sit there and stuff my face and then put the weight back on, if not some more, because I overcompensated by putting massive amounts of calories out of my diet and then by eating all the stuff that I hadn't been eating for the last month. So I realized, number one, have that idea of how many calories you should be doing and eating on a daily basis. If you're a little bit over one day and a little bit over under the next day in terms of your targets, then that's fine, as long as overall, day in, day out, week in, week out, you are eating less calories than you need to maintain your weight, then you will slowly be losing weight. And then you can throw in exercise on top. So number one, TD calculator. Number two, I truly believe that a lifestyle change is far better for you in all ways than going on some strict mad diet. I've said it before, there is a place to do a diet if you want to get a dress size lost or a suit size lost to fit into something for a special occasion, then there's a place for it. But going on really strict diets for weeks or months at a time, most people will put the weight back on, if not more than they lost doing the weight. But changing your lifestyle, changing the way you eat and the things you eat and how you do things, that is going to have a massive long-term effect on you. And I say that from a point of losing 13 stone. It is one of those things that changing those little bits of lifestyle make a big difference. The simple ones are, don't have 3 or 4 takeaways in a week. I know that sounds daft, but I used to eat 3 or 4 takeaways in a week. Get back from work, can't be bothered cooking. Oh, I'll just order a takeaway. A little bit of meal prep, a little bit of, putting things in the fridge, having things ready to eat, so that when you are snacky and hungry, you've got healthier things to snack on. I've said it before, but things like carrots and hummus is a great way to have a snack without raiding that big bag of Doritos, because that was convenient, but actually not very healthy. So, changing that lifestyle, changing the things you do, not just the things you eat, but also the amount of exercise you do. The little tiny things that build up when you first start changing your lifestyle. Park further away in the supermarket car park. Why? Well, it's only a few extra steps, but if you're doing lots of changes like that and you are actually going, ooh, I might take the lift up the stairs at the office, which I happily did because it was on the 6th floor, but then I would walk down the stairs rather than taking the lift down. I know people who walked up the stairs, that was a bit too much for me at the time, but it is one of those things, all these little changes, do make a difference. When I first started my fitness journey, I got one of those Fitbits, and it tracked your steps. And on average, I did about 1,000 steps in a day. I literally walked from my bedroom to the kitchen to my computer, and that was pretty much it. I'd then sit at my computer for the next 8 to 10 hours before then getting up, realizing I hadn't eaten anything all day, and then just stuffing food through my face or ordering another take. You get the idea. So it is one of those things that there are so many things when it comes to eating for weight loss that you can do differently. First of all, have that idea of how much you should be eating in order to maintain or lose weight. First thing. Second thing, start actually changing the lifestyle. Do you need 3 or 4 takeaways in a week? Or can you have a treat once a month or once a fortnight that you will have a takeaway and that's it? And when I started doing that one, this is going to sound daft as well, but when I started doing that one, I would bin whatever leftovers were left. A bit of a waste, I know, but when I first started changing these little things in my lifestyle and the way I ate in order to lose weight, I was getting to the point where I might have 3 takeaways in a week, but I'd always buy extra so that I had leftovers the next day. So that 3 takeaways in a week would probably feed me for 4 or 5 days, if not 6, because I always ordered enough leftovers to eat the next day. So I made a decision. I needed to cut down on my calories. I needed to eat better. So I would have my takeaway once a fortnight, and then it changed to once a month. And I would make sure that I had enough for that night, and I was happy that night. But if there was anything left over the next day, I'd bin it and I'd go back to my healthier eating. And it is one of those things that made, I've said this before, but the first probably 4 stone that I lost was the easiest 4 stone I've ever lost, because it was just little things that I just changed and cut out. You know, it wasn't anything drastic like trying to run a marathon, which I'm shuddering just from the thought of doing that. But it was just those little changes, knowing how much I should be eating, and then actually working towards that by changing little things. I still have some crisps from time to time. I still have a takeaway from time to time. There's nothing wrong with that. I've said it before, but you know, there is no wrong food. But it's so much easier to be full and filling, you know, from a big bowl of healthier food than it is to get the same amount of calories from a chocolate bar or 2. So choose wisely. If you know how many calories you should be eating, then you can work out, you know, what you're going to be doing during the day. Yeah, and you can also work out how to make sure you're full and satiated rather than peckish and eating a chocolate bar. It's still the same number of calories. I know that some people will save up some calories and have that chocolate bar, and that's great. My only problem is I can't eat the one unless it's like a big chocolate bar. But that is because I'm obese and addicted to food, and I know that. So I know that for me, working on that lifestyle and working on having, you know, healthy big portions of healthier food, more vegetables, slightly less meat. You know, for me, lower carbs works. I know for some other people it doesn't. So there's no such thing as the right food. But if you are going to be looking at what you're eating for your weight loss, start off with how much you should be eating, and then work out what's going to make you feel full and not hungry half an hour later. I've always found, this is maybe just me, but I've always found that if I have quite a few carbs in terms of your rices and things like egg fried rice, you know, is one of the dishes I used to make lots of, and I'd eat a lot of it, and then half an hour later I'd be like, ooh, I could just have another little bowl. And it is one of those things that added up to the total weight I got to, what was it, 470 pounds, I think it was, 33 and a bit stone. And that is a massive weight that didn't suddenly miraculously appear overnight. My lifestyle led me to that. The things I ate led me to my maximum weight of, you know, 33 odd stone. And it is all those things that just build up slowly by slowly and end up putting a few pounds on and a few pounds on, and off you go to the races until you're in, you know, 8XL shirts and trousers and things, and struggling to find things that even fit then. So I know I'm rambling a little bit, but if you are looking at what you're eating for your weight loss, start with how much you should be eating in terms of the calories. There are lots of apps like MyFitnessPal that will really help you control and understand where your calories are coming from. You can scan the barcodes and actually work it out from there. But start trying to eat better things in your lifestyle in terms of more vegetables. You know, I hate the word, I really do hate the word, but cleaner things in terms of choose the leaner meats, you know, get some fish in your diet. You know, but make sure that you're full and feeling good about what you're eating, right? Because that chocolate bar, although it'll taste delicious, you will be hungry a little bit later, so you will add more calories to a day. And the last thing that I want to talk about briefly about eating for weight loss is those times when you know you want to eat. Be it emotional, be it pre or post gym, be it whatever it is, whatever you know is going to drive you to reach for the packet of crisps, have something else ready for you. Have something healthier in the fridge. You know, have some yogurts, you know, just pick the ones with less calories and things. You know, have some fruit in a bowl that you can munch on, you know, relatively guilt-free. You know, I'm not saying eat an entire bag of something, and certainly not candied or dried fruit is quite calorific. But apples and oranges and pears, sitting in a bowl, melon in the fridge, whatever it is, have something that you like on hand if you know that you're going to be in a frame of mind that you need to eat, and substitute that healthier option for that bag of crisps, chips, whatever it is, nuts, because that will actually help you, because you'll still feel like you're eating, you'll still feel like you've satiated that craving for comfort eating, but you've done it in a pretty much guilt-free way, rather than chocolate bars, crisps, snacks, and all those other sweet things. So really do have a think about the lifestyle. Try and be honest with yourself, and nobody's asking you in terms of what are your triggers. You know them. You know what sets you off raiding the fridge, the freezer, and whatever else. And try and have something that's an alternative, a slightly healthier option for you. And count the calories. I'm not talking to the nearest one, but roughly how many calories is in an apple versus a tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream? It is one of those things that having a couple of apples, generally speaking, will be better for you than eating the tub of ice cream. Just add that into your MyFitnessPal or whatever other app you use and actually record it. And as long as you are, on average, over time, eating less than you need to maintain your weight, the chances are you will be losing weight. And the very last thing about eating for weight loss, I referred to it earlier when I said about going on mad diets and cutting out lots and lots of calories. If you do that, your body will go into starvation mode and actually store more of your food as fat than if you'd just been eating sensibly and normally. So don't just think, I should be eating 2,200 calories in a day or thereabouts. I'm going to only have 1,000. It doesn't work. It doesn't. It just does not. It might work for a few days, and you see these, diets online. Like there's one called the British Heart Foundation diet, which is like 3 days of diet, and you lose a lot of weight. There's a soup diet. There's lots of them out there. I've tried most of them, and they do work for a couple of days. They really do. You lose a chunk of weight, right? But then as soon as you go back to eating normally, because you haven't changed your lifestyle, or at least I hadn't, then you put it back on again. So rather than being drastic and sending your body into starvation mode, how about actually just eating normally, but less than your body needs? So if you are looking at 2,200 for ease of numbers, start eating 1,800. It's a reduction. It is below your maintenance levels. You will lose weight on it. It will be a slow and healthy way to do it. And you are unlikely, unless you're eating the chocolate bars as your calorie, you're unlikely to need to go in and eat takeaways, chips, crisps, and all the rest of it, because you will feel full. You'll feel like you're actually eating. Your body will not go into starvation mode, and you will slowly and healthily be losing weight. And that's what I mean about lifestyle, and how eating for weight loss is not just about going on some crash mad diet. It's just about eating less than you need and keeping it going for a long period of time. I'll talk about it more in the update video this week, but I've lost nearly 5 kilograms in the past 3 weeks. Just from doing that, I'm still having a beer. I'm still having the odd meal out. But I'm also making sure that I'm below my calorie maintenance level, and I'm making sure that I'm doing some exercise to increase that deficit. But at no point is my body going, you're starving, therefore we're going to store it as fat for use later like some camel. The only difference is the hump is on the front with a big belly. So please think about it. Think about what you're doing. If whatever point you're on your journey, think about your lifestyle, and think about those little things you can change. At the start, if you're starting from morbidly obese, some of those changes will be really easy to do. I say easy to do. I missed takeaways for quite some time, but they are relatively easy to do. If you're having 3 takeaways in a week, to start off with, cut it down to 1. You know, once you're comfortable with that, cut it down to 1 or 2 a fortnight. Cut it down to 1 or 2 a month. You know, I would always say that I need that, because I love food, I need that treat. So I have chosen, not because of a money thing, but because, you know, of a dates thing, I have a takeaway at home on payday. On payday is takeaway day. You know, and that is just something that keeps me in the routine of, I enjoy a takeaway. I enjoy somebody else cooking for me. I enjoy the grease and all the rest of it. You know, but I limit myself in terms of my lifestyle, in terms of how much of that food I eat. Because at the end of the day, I am trying my hardest to be on a weight loss journey, and eating takeaways 3 times a week is not going to help me on a weight loss journey. It would be more of a weight gain journey, which got me to morbidly obese in the first place. So, I hope that's given you some things to think about. If there's anything else that you would like to be sort of mentioned in these videos, please do leave a comment in the comment section and smash that like button if you've enjoyed it, so it helps get this video out there to hopefully help more people who are in a similar position to me. So, I will speak to you in the next video, and thank you very much for watching along.